We had a problem with sin in our church.
Something wasn't right.
A lot of it was hidden.
We're still kind of trying to do the same things and acting like we were going to be growing. It was confusing because the problem was beneath the surface.
There really was a failure of leadership in the church. Began with our pastor, who was with us for about 14 years, and but not only failure on his part, but failure on the part of the rest of the leadership in the church.
One of the biggest problems was gossip. People would see things and it was never dealt with, and so there was constantly pockets of people talking.
Failure of our pastor was in terms of sexual misconduct, and failure by the elder board and other leaders in not holding him accountable, not holding ourselves accountable, and not knowing how to really shepherd the flock as we should have, not knowing what the biblical meaning of being a shepherd was.
The leadership didn't respond to it. There were several people who came.
As a congregation, we tended to look to the pastor and not to God.
He basically told us that it was only one inappropriate relationship, and shortly after that, probably 2 days later, we found out there was a second one at that point.
People were crying over this man. This was a pastor who we loved. And it was really hard.
Before the problem came, it was a pretty active church. We were growing. There were quite a few new families coming. It kind of started to get, I think, more superficial. Our growth kind of stagnated.
The sermons seemed to be very dry, very canned. There were a lot of people who had been in the church and strong leaders for a very long time who left the church.
Church did really stop growing kind of in the midst of a campaign where we were trying to go to a new location and build a new church.
There were lots of divisions in the church between people.
There wasn't a lot of personal growth. There was a lot of hurt, just feeling in the dark, you know, like a lot that we just didn't know. Feeling deceived in your own church family was hard.
The mistrust was devastating.
Ministries really started to fail. Eventually, I think every ministry leader stepped down.
There were just no ministries in the church whatsoever. It was just Sunday morning, just going to church and Sunday school. Even childcare in the nursery we weren't doing. People just couldn't serve through the process. Everyone was just hurting so badly. And
I really felt lost. I think we had a lot of people that were coming and looking for answers. And I remember meeting, it felt like twice a week, it felt like, and for, late into the evening as a board, and not knowing even what to do.